How much do you know about fatty liver? It's a common misconception that only regular drinkers are affected by this condition. In reality, even non-drinkers can suffer from fatty liver. By increasing your knowledge about this issue, you can take proactive steps to prevent it. Stay informed and protect your liver health.
Presentation, I have chosen a very relevant, important topic, which is about fatty liver. Fatty liver has been killing hundreds of millions of people all over the world. It's more than 100 million in USA alone, and about 18 million Filipinos, as reported in 2022. It can be a silent killer because its progression is very, very gradual, and most patients do not even have symptoms, so that they go unnoticed. The patients are totally unaware that they have it until it becomes critical. The liver becomes fatty because of the accumulation of fat in the liver cells in the form of triglycerides. And the liver is considered fatty when more than 5% of it is fat. It can be secondary to excessive alcohol intake, so we call it alcoholic fatty liver disease or alcoholic steatohepatitis. Or when not caused by alcohol, then it is called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Rates of this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease have doubled during the past 20 years and are expected to continue to rise. And there are alarming numbers of increasing risk of fatty liver disease among children because of childhood obesity. Children as young as 10 or 12 years old or even younger can have fatty liver disease because of spending their time drinking all those juice and soda. Major contributors to fatty liver disease, the non-alcoholic type, are your environmental toxin exposure, poor diet, excess body fat, particularly abdominal fat or visceral fat as we call it, standard American diet, and a sedentary lifestyle. Also at risk are those who are in their middle age or older, particularly the menopausal or post-menopausal women, those who have had their gallbladders removed, the diabetic, or even those who are pre-diabetic, those with hypertension, metabolic syndrome, those with rapid weight loss, those who are on corticosteroids or some cancer treatment, and those who have a low choline in their diet. Choline is a very important nutrient. A diet that is heavy in processed foods and refined carbohydrates can overload your liver and lead or trigger fatty liver disease. And sugar is the major offender. If you overload your liver with sugar or starches, it can really cause the liver to make fat like crazy. However, fructose, especially of the high corn fructose type, can really drive or trigger your liver into overdrive and really turn on the fat production. In fact, fructose has been labeled as a weapon of mass destruction. Choline deficiency, research has shown that choline deficiency, this is a key nutrient found primarily in beef liver and egg yolk. So, a deficiency in choline is considered as one of the key risk factors for developing fatty liver along with fructose. But again, it has been found out that choline deficiency is an even more significant trigger for fatty liver disease than fructose. And if you combine a low choline diet with excessive fructose intake, if you combine a low choline diet with excessive fructose intake, it can assure you, it can almost guarantee you that you will have fatty liver at some point. Choline is found richly in egg yolk. Remember that the egg yolk is the healthiest part of the egg. It is the most nutrient-dense, antioxidant-rich, vitamin and mineral-loaded part of the egg. It is so full of vitamin Bs, choline, lutein, vitamin A, and those eggs that come from free-range chicken are overloaded with omega-3 fatty acids. Some people fear eating egg yolk for fear that their cholesterol or bad cholesterol will increase. Partly true, but primarily not true. Because it can really increase your liver, the low density lipoprotein or the bad cholesterol to some extent. But overall, it will increase your good cholesterol to a much greater extent so that the outcome, the overall cholesterol ratio, will be good for your overall health. So you need to go out there and start taking all that egg yolk. Our liver is literally drowning in toxins. We have around 80,000 environmental toxins, majority of which we have no control over. They're everywhere and in everything, from the air that you breathe, from the food that you eat, from the water that you drink, from all those personal care products, even your perfume, your deodorant, all the skincare products, they are really so full of toxins. But let's thank Atomy for giving us skincare products and personal care products that are really organic. So, yeah. These are the top 10 toxins to which we are exposed every day. Alcohol, tobacco smoke, you look at that. Silver dental fillings. This really is very dangerous. If you have this, go look for a biological dentist who can take out that mercury-based silver filling, as it's gonna kill you over time. It's really, really very dangerous and very toxic. And bisphenol found on plastic water bottles. It's really dangerous to be carrying this mineral or these water bottles because they continue to leach bisphenol in the water that you drink. So artificial fragrance, so that includes all the air fresheners, inside thousands of household products. Teflon substance used on cookware, furniture, and carpets. Some refer to it as gas lighting. Your carpet can continue to emit all the dangerous toxins. Indoor and outdoor air pollution, pesticides and herbicides. Particularly mentioned here is Roundup. Roundup is a kind of pesticide that has been widely used to control the pests that destroy your wheat. So it is done or delivered through huge aerial spray. So our wheat and all wheat-based products, I must warn you, stay away from anything that is wheat or wheat-based. Traditionally, we have always known wheat as something healthy. I grew up really eating a lot of wheat-based products, but since the 1990s, when Roundup was introduced, it really is killing millions of people all over the world. So you better be careful. You can Google it to validate what I'm trying to say. In fact, the manufacturer of Roundup, Monsanto, an American company, is currently facing several suits. The charge is genocide for killing people, millions of them, all over the world. You think of your body as a toxin bucket that fills up with toxins every single day. And at greatest risk is the liver because of the direct connection of the intestines to the liver via the enterohepatic or portal circulation. We call this the gut-liver axis. Anything in your gut, if it crosses through the lining of the intestine, gets into the bloodstream of the portal circulation or the enterohepatic circulation, they will all end up in the liver. So if you are living an unhealthy lifestyle that leads you to a leaky gut, all that bad stuff, the bacteria, the bacterial toxins, the parasites, the undigested food, they will eventually all end up in your liver. The liver acts now like an oil filter, and it has to get rid of all that bad stuff out of your body. The liver now starts to segregate between the good and the bad stuff. It is really our body's center, major center for detoxification. It will separate the good from the bad stuff. The good stuff, like the nutrients, the liver will retain and eventually allow to be released into our main systemic or arterial circulation for overall body distribution. The bad stuff, like the harmful toxins, have to be cleared, and the liver sends them back into the intestines to be pooped out. And who does that? The bile. The bile carries 80% of the toxins from the liver for them to be brought back to the intestine for final moving out. So if you have a damaged liver, or a fatty liver at that, your liver now becomes like a dirty oil filter that continues to leak all that bad stuff into your main systemic arterial circulation. All that bad stuff will eventually end up in your brain and in your other organs of the body, triggering inflammation everywhere. And I'm sure by now you know and understand fully well what the repercussions are of chronic inflammation. If that remains unchecked, that systemic inflammation can lead to a lot of chronic health conditions, all the autoimmune disorders, all the diseases like diabetes, hypertension, Alzheimer's, psoriasis, even cancer, metabolic syndrome, chronic kidney disease. So let us all remember that there is really a very deep connection between your liver and all these chronic health conditions we're dealing with in our present world. Remember that 80% of the causes of global deaths all over the world are these non-communicable diseases or the lifestyle diseases, meaning they are diseases which we acquire through how we live our lives. These are the different stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver. The initial stage is your NAFL, or the non-alcoholic fatty liver, or simple fatty liver, where there is no inflammation yet, and therefore it is really easily reversible. Over time, if left unchecked, it can lead to NASH, or non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, where there is already inflammation and eventually leads to fibrosis or scarring, cirrhosis, and ultimately cancer. Often, people who have fatty liver experience little or no symptoms at all. But if they do have, mostly it is in the form of some kind of body fatigue, pain in the right upper abdomen, or brain fog. Brain fog, you cannot think clearly, you cannot decide clearly, there could be some kind of a memory loss. Over time, symptoms may increase to include excessive fatigue, weakness, failure to eat or loss of appetite, weight loss, jaundice, etc. Remember that even children, as I have told earlier, can end up with non-alcoholic fatty liver from spending their childhood drinking all the soda and juice. And even thin people can develop fatty liver. It's not just the overweight people. You need to have a very high index of suspicion. You need to start looking at your liver, particularly when there are health issues that just won't go away. Like, for example, persistent constipation, heartburn. It could be memory loss, dementia, weakness that just don't go away. Don't dismiss them or ignore them, thinking that it's just maybe growing old makes you feel this way. So we all blame the aging process in how we feel. Let us remember that it is the toxic overload, the toxin load we are exposed to every day. It is what that makes us feel sicker, older, and less energized. So you have to be very highly suspicious. You go check your liver, the liver function test. You have the SGOT, the SGPT. This SGOT and SGPT, these are a measure of liver cells that are dying. When your liver enzymes, SGOT, SGPT, are elevated, it means your liver cells are dying. They're opening up and releasing all those enzymes. And then remember again, you may have the fatty liver, but it is not always that you will find the liver enzymes as elevated. So again, based on your clinical symptoms, The symptoms, the liver function test may look normal, but if you really feel off, you don't really feel well, then you better start supporting your liver. There are natural liver health support strategies to manage this illness, but essentially, there are two most important steps that we need to keep in mind to protect your liver from being damaged by the daily toxic load. The first step is to detox. Get rid of that toxin. Try to avoid or reduce toxin exposure by eating organic whenever possible. Eat the smaller fish, not the bigger fish. The bigger fish, more likely, will be more contaminated with mercury, arsenic, lead, etc. Limit use of single-use plastics, including bottles. Avoid plastic food containers. Upgrade to glass containers and steel water bottles. Avoid smoking or vaping. Reduce stress and give your body time to rest, sleep, and recover. Get rid of all those toiletries, all those products which might have hidden toxins and chemicals in them. Whenever you detox, keep in mind, you have to make sure that all your elimination channels are open. These elimination channels include, of course, your bile flow, as it carries 80% of the toxins out through the intestine. The toxins also get out through our colon, through our skin, through our lungs, and through our kidneys. So, again, be mindful of all these elimination channels. Make sure you are exercising regularly, so you sweat out your toxins. You do breathing exercises, so you breathe out your toxins. You're drinking enough water, and by enough means at least 50 ml per kilo per day. If you don't meet that, then for every single day that you miss out on your required intake, eventually you can get chronically dehydrated. And when you're chronically dehydrated, it can cause a lot of very basic complaints like headache, vertigo, dizziness, some kind of a migraine attack, which is really just secondary to lack of water intake. So you have to drink enough water so you pee out the toxins. You have to make sure you are not constipated, so you move out your toxins through your intestines. If these elimination channels are not open, the toxins will not be moved out of your body. And what will happen? They get reabsorbed through the small intestine and back into the bloodstream. They get recirculated, only for you to end up in an even worse condition. I have encountered some of these patients who were referred to me with psoriasis, initially improved with the initial detoxification, but eventually got worse. So when it came to the point that it was getting worse, I have to discuss lengthily with the patient how open are your elimination channels and how healthy is your liver. And so that really did the trick. The second step is to protect the liver. The first step, I said, is to detox, reduce your toxin exposure. The second step is to protect your liver, not only by eating healthy, but by taking all the necessary liver supplements that will restore your liver function, help your liver repair whatever existing damage there is, and prevent any future damage. First in the list is our spirulina. Spirulina is a very nutrient-dense supplement. It is so full of all the essential amino acids. And these amino acids are the building blocks for enzymes, which is how detoxification happens. This is how toxins get detoxified through enzymatic alteration. So you need all those enzymes. Spirulina has 5 major antioxidants, and that includes your chlorophyll. Chlorophyll helps the liver get rid of toxins and chelate all the harmful metals. You have your Finezyme, our digestive enzyme. You have to have a healthy digestive system for your liver to be healthy. If your digestive system is unhealthy, then it can kick off a domino effect that can hurt your liver in a big way. If you are not properly digesting your food, then that food becomes also not properly absorbed, and you can end up also nutritionally being compromised. So you might be thinking you're eating healthy by taking in all those vegetables, but if they are not properly digested, then your nutrients are not being properly absorbed. Vitamin C. This is a very potent antitoxin, antipathogen, and as a prototypical antioxidant, it can help repair the liver by controlling inflammation. Vitamin C also helps support glutathione, which is our body's master antioxidant and a huge detoxifier in itself. Vitamin C also helps thin the bile to prevent bile stone formation. Milk thistle. This is considered as the king of liver health herbs because of its very potent antioxidant property. The liver, as it gets rid of the toxins, can get hurt through the release of the free radicals. And this is where the antioxidants of the milk thistle come to the rescue. Milk thistle is indeed a powerhouse or a detoxification powerhouse capable of controlling liver inflammation and flushing out the toxins. It not only reverses but regenerates the liver. It not only helps but heals the liver. And be thankful that our brand of milk thistle has rhodiola in it. Rhodiola, just like your ginseng, it is a very good adaptogen. When you talk of adaptogen, it means it can help your body control or respond to stress better. This is very important as it has been proven that chronic stress is directly linked to the development and progression of liver disease. So that learning how to manage your stress is very critical for liver health. Omega-3, a very powerful anti-inflammatory supplement, can help reduce the fat content and favorably modifies the lipid profile, which underlines the hepatic dysfunction. We all love omega-3. I take omega-3 6 capsules every single night. I don't have any health issues. I don't have any problems with any of I'm not hypertensive and all that. But I know at my age, there could be a lot of inflammation, so I'm really taking a lot of omega-3. Probiotics. As to how healthy you are in your gut is how healthy you will be in your liver. If you are eating a toxic food and your intestine does not have enough of the good bacteria, then that can hurt your liver in a big way. Remember that all of the blood from the small and large intestine flows directly into the portal circulation, into the liver, on its way back to the regular mainstream or circulation. Keep in mind also that our intestines produce 90% of the neurotransmitters, which we call as serotonin or the happy hormones. Serotonin levels are very crucial, extremely crucial for liver regeneration. So you have to go look for a good quality probiotic, as this is a great way to protect and heal your gut. Lastly, our HemoHim. We all know what it is. It is a very good antioxidant, very powerful, and is therefore a very good anti-inflammatory supplement. We need to activate the stem cells in the liver for that liver to regenerate to its full size. There are 8 keys to naturally activate the stem cells. One of these, down the line, is the use of polyphenolic compounds. Our HemoHim consists of 35% polyphenols. You also need to activate the stem cells in our bone marrow. We know that our HemoHim, we need it to stimulate and activate the hematopoietic stem cells in our bone marrow. And as the hematopoietic stem cells get activated, the mesenchymal stem cells also get activated. These mesenchymal stem cells will now differentiate into liver cells, mature liver cells, to help the liver repair and regenerate.